Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a story on a case that isn't a cold case. It has actually been solved. But the reason I did this story is because it's quite close to home. It actually happened in Newport in Wales, which is about, I don't know, an hour's drive, an hour and a half's drive away from where I live. And the case that we're doing is the murder of Georgina Symonds. She was a 25-year-old lady. She had a daughter, and she was murdered by her, I can't really call him a partner. Well, Georgina was an escort. She was basically only with this guy because he was paying for a house, paying for stuff for her and her daughter. But he kind of got a bit of an obsession with Georgina. Things went really bad really quick. But yeah, that's the story that I'm going to be doing today. Warning, that it does contain suicide and addiction and obviously murder. So if any of those things might upset you or something, then maybe don't watch this video. I've got to put the warning out there because I don't want you to be like, you know, shocked when you see it, when you hear it and stuff. But yeah, so that's today's case. It's the case of Georgina Symonds. And the next voice you'll be hearing is my voiceover, future me. And yeah, let's do the story. I forgot to add that if you want to know what products that I'm using, I will link them down in the description below, along with links to where you can buy them from. As I said, this is the case of Georgina Symonds. Georgina was a 25-year-old woman from Newport in Wales in the UK. She also had a daughter. Georgina Symonds grew up in Newport, South Wales. She was described as bubbly, bright and ambitious. Her parents separated when she was very young, but this didn't affect the beautiful person she turned into. Georgina went on to have a daughter with a man called Peter Dean at an early age. Georgina always provided for her daughter by working odd jobs and eventually started making a lot of money for her and her daughter by working as an escort. When Georgina was 22 back in 2012, she met a man in his 50s called Peter Morgan. Peter was married at the time and had 2 children. Peter was a very wealthy man and was worth an estimated £16 million. Peter's wife found out that he had sent Georgina flowers on Valentine's Day in 2013. He had also been looking at escort websites, which is how he met Georgina. Peter moved Georgina and her daughter into his bungalow and started to become very obsessed with her. He was also paying for things for her and her daughter. Peter lived in a massive castle not far away from Georgina's bungalow. By 2016, they had been together for 3 years. On the 12th of January 2016, Georgina's friend Alexi got in contact with the Welsh police. Georgina and Alexi had talked about a play date for their children on the same day. Unfortunately, Georgina didn't show up to collect her daughter from school that day. The police show up at the bungalow and Georgina's mum, Peter and Alexi were all there. Peter told the police that Georgina hadn't been herself the last few days. Her dad and ex-boyfriend Peter Dean had both died. Peter said that Georgina couldn't cope with all the pain and had turned to alcohol and drugs. Peter also told the police that she might have killed herself, and if she had, she would have gone out to the woods behind the bungalow to do it. However, the police didn't find anything in the woods. Georgina was considered a high-risk missing person at this point due to her mental state. The police then tracked Georgina's phone. This led them to Peter's estranged wife's farm. She had been out of the country at the time. The police looked into Peter Dean, Georgina's ex-partner, and their relationship. Georgina becoming an escort caused a lot of arguments between them, and the relationship struggled. So Georgina tried to hide the relationship she had with Mr. Morgan. By August 2015, Georgina had told Mr. Morgan that she had to end things with Peter Dean. She did see him a few more times before ending the relationship for good. Sadly, Peter Dean ended up committing suicide, and Georgina blamed herself for it. She was in a very dark place and turned to alcohol and cocaine. Georgina was in such a dark place that Mr. Morgan had taken Georgina's phone off her to stop her calling people and trying to buy drugs. He kept this in the front seat of his car. He eventually told the police and handed it over to them. Georgina's friends and family told the police that Mr. Morgan was obsessed with Georgina and that she treated their relationship more like a business transaction. Georgina had told Alexei that she was going to end things with Mr. Morgan and was planning for the future. On the 13th of February 2013, Mr. Morgan confessed to the police that he had strangled Georgina. He said after he strangled her, he took her body to his wife's farm. Georgina's car, house keys, high-heeled boots and purse were all found in a bin bag. The police had also found a listening device that Mr. Morgan had used to spy on Georgina, though Mr. Morgan claimed it was used to check on Georgina's well-being. Between 2015 and 2016, the device was accessed about 514 times. Mr. Williams had heard Georgina saying she wanted him to sign the bungalow over to her and that she was going to leave him. Eventually, Mr. Morgan admitted that he knew Georgina was using him, which is what made him get the listening device. He also said that he had heard Georgina saying she was going to blackmail him into signing her over the bungalow. Apparently, she was going to tell his wife and daughters that he was using escort websites. She also had videos that Mr. Morgan had sent her. On the 11th of January, Mr. Morgan had made a list on his phone of things he needed: poly, handle, snips, string, tape, gloves, plug, and bag. These items were used to murder Georgina. After Mr. Morgan had moved out of his wife's farm, she set up cameras. Mr. Morgan had no idea about this. Footage was actually found of him pulling up to the farm, pulling Georgina's body out and hiding it. On the 28th of November 2016, Mr. Morgan's trial began. He pled not guilty. The prosecution described Mr. Williams as being completely obsessed with Georgina. They also said that he maliciously planned and carried out the murder. On December the 21st, 2016, Peter Morgan was found guilty of murder. He was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Now, I don't really agree with this. I think he took a life, so therefore he should have life, end of. There's no parole, possibility or anything like that. What do you guys think? That's what I think anyway. Life for a life. He did try and appeal his conviction in October 2017, but in March the following year, his appeals were denied. So that's it, guys. Final thoughts on this. I think, it's hard to get caught up in something like that. If you think that someone, loves you, but you're paying them to love you, you know what I mean? But I guess it could be easy to get caught up in that. So I understand that kind of from his point of view, but to go and kill someone over it, I don't agree with that at all. And the way he did it as well, like hiding her body and he was spying on her and stuff, I couldn't deal with that. So yeah, I don't like the fact that she was using him sort of thing, but that is her job at the end of the day. She was kind of doing her job. But yeah, he shouldn't have killed her over it.
There was no need for that. That was really bad. What do you guys think? I'm quite, I don't know. It's difficult. It's a real difficult one, this. And again, it's quite close to home, so I didn't even know about this either. The only reason I know about it is because I researched it. You know, if I hadn't typed in, like, you know, murders and stuff, I wouldn't have found it. So it's scary. It's scary to think that all this is happening around us and we don't know anything about it. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't, then I'm really sorry. This is going to be part of a new series, this one is, which is solved cases. So I'm doing a series on cold cases and solved cases, and I will be uploading 2 videos a week, so one for each series. I will be doing like the bigger serial killers and stuff, but there's just like so many documentaries about them, and so many videos have been done on them. You know, a lot of people know all there is to know about them, so that's why I'm kind of looking for the more unknown ones, you know, so they get heard as well and people don't forget about it. So yeah, I do feel for Georgina's daughter, though. That must have been difficult. And her mother, obviously. I don't know what happened to her daughter in the end, whether she stayed with her nan or I don't know. But yeah, that's it from me, guys, today. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week and a great weekend, and I shall see you again next week. Mwah.